It's your fucking birthday. It's your fucking birthday. It's the Hivemind podcast.
Hello, my friend. It's been so long.
It's the Hivemind podcast. Hivemind podcast.
Boop.
All right, and auto tune off.
Say that. What's the H stand for?
I actually don't know. I thought I would be the religion expert, but I don't know what
People
H.
always be like, Jesus H Christ. And I'll be like, whoa.
Is it hecking?
What's that mean?
Hecking? Jesus hecking Christ?
Hell.
Oh, no. You don't think hell is Jesus' middle name, do you?
Could be. It would make a lot of sense.
That'd be a bad boy thing to say.
Talking about the devil, what
Yeah.
about this Satan turn Uzi's made?
That's not a turn. He's
Well-
always... That's no pivot.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
444 plus 222. I mean, do the math. You know what I mean?
16? 18? 17?
Never mind. People get it. All right. We're back. Hivemind podcast, number 1.
Back, baby. Number 1.
In the new studio.
It's the middle of the summer.
It is the middle of summer. Dab off a little bit.
Everybody's talking about summer jams, dude. That's all I hear. What's
Yeah.
the new summer jam? Oh, that's a summer jam.
What's the song of the summer?
Song
We
of
want to
the
know what you guys
summer.
think the song of the summer. Kiki, do you love me? It's
Could be
number
up there.
1 song.
It will be for the rest. It will be through August.
You think it'll be number 1 through August?
What else is supposed to come out?
I don't know. Bieber could come out with something. I'd go for a Bieber summer jam. I feel like it's time.
I know John Mayer would.
Yeah. I don't know who else, though. I mean, you love Dua Lipa. You're a big Dua Lipa fan now.
Well,
so.
I'm a supporter. One kiss is all it takes. Falling in love with me. That song's hot.
Yeah, sure.
Get with it.
All right, let's talk about this. First topic, the 4 new Chance the Rapper songs. The other day he released 4 new songs. They all have like this minimalist artwork. A lot of people thought there was a Chance album coming this week, and he apologized, said no album. Released 4 songs. The main one, the one that people are kind of propping up as the hit, is I Might Need Security. And then
Great sampling.
Yeah, great
Beautiful
sampling. I thought, the first time I heard it, I thought it might have been a Ye beat,
Yeah.
which is interesting, but
I was jamming that on the way up with these guys and
yeah.
I thought it was cool how like they're taking like the most vulgar phrase, like fuck you, and they're making it so beautiful and so like melodic and like you want to sing along to it.
Yeah.
And how like those opposing ideas like often work well, like to bump against each other. Like
It also has lots of meanings throughout the song. He kind of
Right.
flips it. He threatens Rahm Emanuel, which
Yeah.
I think is really funny and like, you know, was like a good moment to kind of like to capture in the media, I guess, for people. Other than that, what did you like on the other songs?
Walla Cam, baby.
Yeah,
That's my summer
Superboy.
song right now.
Yeah,
That song's fun as hell. It's
yeah.
got-
Repetitive sampling seems to be a big thing right now. Like on the Nas album, like Cop Shot the Kid, like
Yeah.
that, and then the Walla Cam and the I Might Need Security both kind of do that.
It's kind of always been like the Chicago vibe too, I feel like, is to have like a bit of a like anthem chant kind of.
Yeah.
And
Chance-
it's slang
Chant
too,
the
isn't
Rapper.
it?
What?
It's slang too, Walla Cam.
Walla Cam. Yeah.
It's got to be some Midwest Chicago slang. Probably means like
Like Oop to Bam and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I like also, I mean, Workout, you mentioned that it's kind of, you feel like it's kind of corny on the lyrics and stuff.
First listen, I was like, man, I was talking to Huntley, and we were like, that's corny. He's just talking about breaking up with a girl. He's just got married. It's all this sweet, loving, dovey. But
yeah, he just got engaged to the mother of his child, actually.
yeah, on second listen, that part,
The middle
highlighted
part.
that middle part going into the end is like really sweet.
Reminds me of Lion King the musical, which I know Chance like loves that.
Yeah.
But
It's theatrical for sure.
it's theatrical, and that's another thing that I think is really interesting about these songs is that Chance like doesn't seem to be focusing on what anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
He's like taking his own thing and pushing it. His personality isn't any different. Like
Nope.
I wouldn't have liked him to I wouldn't have liked to see him come out with something that like feels like what everybody else is doing.
Yeah,
so.
the only one that felt like he was like doing something else was with the features, Walla Cam, and that like is typical Chance to like cater to features, like set it up in a way that they can succeed, and then his solo songs are just like right in his own lane. Like it doesn't feel like he's stretching at all or trying to like even be topical, like be on this trend or that trend. It's just like, here I am,
Yeah.
back again.
Did that art remind you of Mick Jenkins' Waves a little bit? Do you
little
remember
bit.
those?
Yeah,
those
no,
like
I do.
those were like super
Is the
precise
one
paintings.
Is the one
like,
supposed to be Arthur's Fist? Everyone kept putting that. I think I need security. I think it's the one. It's
Oh,
like
is
the
it?
yellow arm with like a tan hand at the bottom with a blue pant.
Oh, I didn't catch
looks-
it.
And then it got other people thinking that all the other ones are like abstract representations of like memes or like things like that. So people
okay.
are like turning them on their sides, making images out of them. Like, oh, is this one supposed to be this?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure if that's the intended meaning, but that
Mhm.
one sure looks like Arthur's Fist. And I know he.
I didn't even like pay. I just thought of them as like abstract. I
Yeah.
didn't even like try to read into it.
Do you like that art?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I
Yeah.
mean, for me, like, it stands out. It's super like iconic and not like iconic, but I mean like literally iconic. Like when you see that art, it just all strings together, and it's gonna like remind you of the time. I don't know. Like there's something good about just representational art like that all strings together.
And is this a new thing that he's doing? Like, who's the last person to drop 4 singles at once and not call it an EP, not call it... Like, Drake did 2 songs. He did whatever, God's Plan
and Diplomatic Immunity.
Like, that was 2.
But that was an EP. That was the Scary Hours EP.
Scary
so
Hours. So, like, has anybody dropped, like, 4 singles like that?
I'm trying to think
as
of...
cohesive, like, with the art and, like, not just like, oh, here's a SoundCloud song, here's this random remix. Like, it seemed like he made all these like in the same time frame, planned to drop them all. And like, are they singles for an upcoming album?
That
are they
led
just summer songs, or is it?
That led a lot of people to say that they might be from an upcoming project, and he just wanted to drop the 4 that were ready or whatever.
I just don't get that feeling though.
Yeah,
it just feels like 4 little pieces. You know, I don't know.
I'd like that from someone like Chance.
Yeah,
just like every once in a while, you get 4 little tastes of something. But yeah, what do you think about the internet? The internet's new album called Hivemind.
Pretty uncreative name, but
oh my god.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to listening to it. I've only heard maybe 3 tracks off of it, and they're one of the best full bands like that we have. Like, and in terms of like jazz fusion, like, and accessibility, and like pushing that sound and instrumentation and like creativity out there, they're like the fastest vehicle going right now. Like, you have Bad Bad Not Good, but they kind of have like an interchanging vocal and like not the same continuity. Like, the internet's like a tight group with like superstars in it.
Before we get to that though, I think that if we call ourselves Hivemind and they call their album Hivemind, they also survived being called the internet. So I think we'll be, you know what I mean?
So
I just don't want you to get too down on yourself.
You're
like,
saying we should change our name to the internet?
The internet, yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Welcome to the Internet Podcast.
This is the internet. I'm Sid, and this is Steve Lacey.
I'm Steve Lacey. No, but I listened to the whole album. The Beat Goes On, which is like the second to last song on the project, is like maybe my favorite internet song ever. Other than that, I need to give it more listens and stuff, but like, I don't know. There's something like pretty subdued about this one where I felt like there were like really specific songs on Ego Death that stood out to me on like the first couple listens. And also I just remember Ego Death being that go-to album like when I was trying to please a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like whenever I was like in like a setting where a lot of people were chilling and I didn't like, everybody had different music tastes like all over the place, I could like rely on that album being like, nobody was gonna be like, man, turn this off. Like it always had that appeal of just like everybody can kind of get into the neo soul like hip hop production. K Tronada did some of the beats on that. But this one seems more like them trying to make a statement. So I'll see kind of what comes of it as I listen to it more. But
I don't know how serious I want to take this, but like, is the timing bad? Like, is this the time we wanted an internet album? Because it kind of felt like it's like, damn, the internet album's out, I gotta listen to that. But like,
yeah, I feel that.
You know what I mean?
feel
like,
that.
That was kind of my first impression. It's like, oh, great, it's out, but it like felt like it came out too early, or like I could have used it like a few months ago. For some reason, it just doesn't feel like I'm like pumped to spin it right now. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna get around to it.
Yeah.
Where I'm at.
I gotcha. One thing I am pumped that's out that I couldn't be more excited about is the famous EP.
I already know.
Lil Hank, Mason Ramsey.
Y'all already know what it is.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? I got plenty of thoughts, but let's let you get yours off first.
He's got great tone. It's very overproduced. That's pretty much it. I don't know. I'd like him to come on the show, dude. I'd like to get a little insight to how he writes and how he's enjoying the industry right now? Because I don't know where he's at. I don't know if he's a tool of some larger machine.
Atlantic Records.
Yeah, or if he's got a vision and someone's just giving him his opportunity.
Yeah. Here are my thoughts. First of all, it sounds like SpongeBob music, which that's always going to get me going, you know what I mean? Those like little twangy guitars and shit. Number two, I was listening to this conspiracy theory the other day about, you remember that song "Where Are You Now" by it's like Skrillex and Diplo with Justin Bieber, and it's got like that like the really high part in it. It's like a dance song.
Oh yeah.
No, that's what you makes me remember. Okay. So apparently that's like a vocal sample that Bieber did, and then there's this theory that like certain frequencies young people can hear that old people cannot, like usually like cut off at the age of 20. Yeah. And it's like that there's that high pitched like noise sounds a lot better to young people than it does to old people based on certain frequencies you can hear in it. And that same sample was reused in The Middle by Maren Morris and Zed. You know that song?
No.
Baby!
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you just meet me in the middle? You can auto-tune that part too. But that song's fire, first of all. Like, so bad that it's good. Like, it, like, crossed the threshold for me where, like, I hated that song so much, and now it's just, like, I just love it.
Yeah, I love Lil Hank. He's still popping off.
Let me finish with the conspiracy.
I mean,
So the conspiracy is that these high-pitched noises really appeal to the young people, okay? Mason Ramsey, listen to that motherfucker's voice. It's like in the stratosphere, you know what I mean?
Joe Jackson should be his father.
Who loves it? Who loves it? The
Little
kids,
girls
the
who
memers.
think he's cute.
Okay, well, them too, but I'm just saying. It's part of like the zeitgeist. I think that there's a reason we're gravitating towards him, you know what I mean? It's like a gravitational pull, just like, Mason, give me more, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's like forbidden rhythm, you know? You hear it and it like plugs you into a different realm, kind of takes you somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I could speak fluent Latin the first time I heard him sing and my eyes rolled back in my head.
I remember that.
I started doing that snake tongue thing.
But you, to be fair, you do that a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of country music. E pluribus unum.
Yeah, but
when's he gonna feature with a rapper? When's the first hook he sings?
No, this is an exclusive. I heard he's actually got a feature on Drip Harder, Lil Baby and Gunna's tape.
Good.
So
wasn't it Lil Baby that put Ryan Adams all over his one album?
I think you said that, and then I never.
No, he is.
It is real.
Yeah, it's on the album that was before Southside.
You mean Harder Than Ever?
Yeah, Harder Than Ever.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's on like 2 or 3 tracks.
That's crazy.
I'll confirm it right now.
Yeah, you got to confirm that because I don't.
Else. We'll talk about it. I know. I don't want you to doubt me.
And then the other thing is Mason Ramsey, Bhad Babie collab album coming out soon. It's actually a mixtape. It's called Bad Ramsey. So that's an exclusive Hivemind.
That's a lie.
No, that's real.
No, it's not.
Atlantic Records. They hooked him up.
I will never buy that.
He's 11. She's 15. So she's kind of like his elder, like almost like his mentor.
Mom.
Yeah, sure.
Cosmic warrior mentor.
Cosmic mentor.
But, I mean, that's what
I believe in them equally, by the way.
That's what I look
as like the next Justin Bieber character.
Whenever I look to her, I think of her as like kind of a cosmic mentor, like someone should listen to, heed their
deep
advice.
knowledge.
Yeah. Just like wisdom beyond her years type deal.
I feel that. I heard also that she might change her name to Dr. Pill.
Dr. Pill.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just what I heard.
Wow. Free Greedo.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about 03 Greedo, man.
You turned me on to that project just a few weeks ago, and there's not really a miss on it for me.
Yeah, and that's crazy because it's 27 songs. So, crazy story for 03 Greedo, West Coast dude. He's 30 years old, he's lived many lives, but spent a majority of his 20s and early or late teens like homeless and living in the streets. He's been shot in his leg. He has like a metal part of his leg. It's a tragedy that he saw so much success on the tail end right before he went in. He got a 20-year sentence for a case he caught in Texas. But he got to release his final album right before he went in, God Level. art by Poppy Codone, who parodied Tupac's Machiavelli album. Yeah.
If These Walls Could Spit Bars.
That's the crazy. Never Bend is produced by Greedo and has been on his last 3 projects in a row.
They act like I didn't make the beat to this one.
Yeah, because he recorded a new verse for this one with Lil Uzi Vert on the remix, but
that's worth it. I think that's funny, just seeing like the same song keep coming up. Like he knew like what it could have been, and like on the first album, like he probably couldn't have called Lil Uzi and got him on it. And then he put it on another one, and it's like almost, and then he makes his third one. And it's like, get out of here.
Yeah, and I heard Sheck West say about like Mo Bamba was released a long time ago, and he said he's like, if you have one, you just got to keep pushing it. And I felt that way. Like the first time I heard Never Bend, I was like an instant fan of Greedo, and that was on what's that project called? Money Changes Everything. Money Changes Everything was the first project it appeared on, and then he put it on Wolf of Grape Street, which he says is like his rushed debut album, and then this one is his first real project, just like encapsulating where he was at, what he wanted to do before he went in.
Who's got the stockpile of his songs?
He signed a deal right before he went in, over $1 million deal, so he became like a legal millionaire before he went in, and it was with the same people who did Gucci's deal while he was in. So they're going to do album rollouts. He has 25 recorded albums, 25 plus from what I hear. Collab albums with Cardo Got Wings, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Pump, tons of them.
Wasn't Gucci on QC?
When he went in? I don't think so, no. I don't know what the exact deal was, but I know that he set it up specifically so that he could make streaming money and it would go straight to his family. Right, and then he said when he gets out, he's going to be the richest rapper alive. So he wanted to go down like Mixtape Wayne. He said he wanted to do as many projects as he could. And the whole album, by the way, the whole God Level album is freestyles, 100%. So all 27 songs, complete freestyle.
Yeah, that's insane. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
None of it written?
None of it. I'm sure he had like hooks maybe going in, but I mean, you can feel it on a lot of them. Like,
that's just crazy to do that for that many songs.
Yeah, totally. You got favorites off that one?
Favorites: Street Life.
One goes hard.
Gun Buck.
Yep.
Prayer for My Lost.
Yeah. See, Prayer for My Lost and Back to Jail. Like I tend to like his balladry a lot, which is pretty crazy. Like last night, one of these guys referred to him as Trap T-Pain, which I thought was
that's good.
A good comparison.
Definitely Luna said that.
Yeah.
Trap T-Pain.
Trap T-Pain, but I mean, he's got so many on there. Like even the singles he released, Floatin' and then High Off Me with Young Bands.
What's the one with Rich the Kid?
That's a Fortnite.
Yeah,
but he did a remix. It's a remix of Fortnite with Rich the Kid. But Fortnite's a great song.
That's a smasher.
He said that was after he bought his daughter a PS4 and brought it home for her, and it was just like literally about sitting there like bonding with his kid, just playing Fortnite, and that's how he wrote the song.
Treat the projects like a fortress.
Yeah. All right, Scorpion thoughts.
Scorpion thoughts.
Just because we didn't get a chance to talk about it when it came out.
Well, I remember being the most hyped on it initially.
Yeah,
I remember liking it a lot off the bat. I'm not saying it's worn down on me, but I have found like my favorite songs, and it's got me just kind of focused on those, and I don't know, like Nonstop is not getting me.
I don't like that song at all.
Yeah, Nonstop's not getting me.
And I like Take Keith Beats. Like that's the block. He does a lot of shit for Block Boy and a bunch of other people.
Sandra's Rose is one I really liked first time around, and it's wearing off.
Oh, really? The Primo beat though.
Yeah, no, it's
doesn't
great.
Sound like a Primo beat, but it's
ones
sweet.
That are gaining momentum for me are like After Dark and Finesse and Jaded.
Jaded is like lyrically, I can't get behind anything Drake says on Jaded, but that being said, it's like maybe my favorite sounding on the whole record.
See,
and Ty Dolla $ign,
is
like
my favorite sounding.
See, that's not like my style of song.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna love After Dark pretty much ever. But
what is?
That's
grown folks music the other day.
My perception of that record is like from a rollout standpoint is that it is massively underrated and it's irrevocable. Like there's no way that people are gonna view that album with like a fair shake ever because of the way that it came out.
Right.
And I mean, I don't even know that it's 100% because of the Pusha T thing. I think people.
No, it's not. But I feel like it squashed that with itself.
Yeah, for sure. But because I think it honestly is going to ignite the Kanye and Drake thing down the line, especially because Drake's been dropping these new freestyles where he's just been pushing Kanye's buttons, and I can't imagine Kanye stays stable enough to not respond for
hire
this,
some help.
Yeah.
Get rid of these.
Oh my God. Yeah, Mob Ties, but
I love that song.
I love that song too. I mean,
Tint,
I truly think that like just from like a hit ratio standpoint, this is his best record since if you're reading this at least. You know what I mean? So I just think it didn't get a fair shake because people were going into it being like, first of all, too long, second of all, expecting a response, and going into it like just like saying, wondering if it was going to be enough for them to like squash the Pusha T thing. I think he just like,
I hated the singles too.
Really?
Well, no, I don't hate them as songs. Like Nice for What and God's Plan. Like Nice for What's like maybe the best song off the album. Not like my favorite that I'm gonna listen to the most, but that is just like
a great
that's
song.
Gonna last like forever. Like that song's always gonna get spun. But those as the singles are so like they're too wholesome for the singles. Like God's Plan and Nice for What, like he should have had Nonstop or. Well, I guess I'm Upset was a single too.
Yeah.
And
Upset was dropped right after Duppy Freestyle too.
Right, and that's just not the greatest sounding song either.
No. Upset to me is like the biggest misstep he's had as a single maybe ever. One thing that bothers me a little bit is like Working on Dying did that beat so Oogie Mane, like from Matt Ox and like so like the whole Philadelphia Working on Dying thing has been like an underground sensation for so long, and to see it like see the light on Upset and like that's like the worst Drake song and the worst song on the album was like a total bummer for me because I wanted to like it so bad. But I do think
that's up in the charts. People are liking that. I mean, it's
for
being
sure
well received.
But that rollout, like, I think goes flawlessly if Pusha T doesn't say anything. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, think about it from, like, this standpoint. God's Plan is, like, the charitable video, but also, like, a big hit song.
Oh, I see what he was going
Undeniable.
for. I just feel like they saw that before anything happened and then didn't adjust. And
they
kept it the way they wanted.
But that's what I'm saying. You have that. Then you have the catering, like, Nice for What is, like, the women's anthem, like, coming from kind of a weird place. But the video has all these, like, famous women in it. And it's got the Lauryn Hill sample and the Big Frida sample.
On God's Plan to probably make that one.
Exactly. And then you have Upset with like the Degrassi reunion video.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like it was so soured by the fact that you've got an actual beef going on, like a rap beef that people care about, and you have Drake just not responding to it. And then releasing his album as if it didn't happen, but also changing content to address it in this weird
that's
kind of like,
what I was about to
it's
say.
like halfway. You got to either do it or you don't do it.
Like
so
how many of those lyrics addressing like his kid were actually going to be in the album before the beef?
Well, March 14th was completely finished before. That's what he played for Kanye when he went to Wyoming. He played March 14th and allegedly didn't change anything. So it's literally him. The last song is him addressing his kid. Apparently did not change a single lyric in it. And that's what Kanye found out and then gave to Pusha T. And then Pusha T released the... Because that's the thing is like Drake when...
Started his own beef then.
Like if you... I mean, he just like wasn't careful with his own information. Right. But like he got home from Wyoming and... If you listen to the beginning of Duppy Freestyle, he's like, the audacity, like, you know, all that stuff. It's because, like, he left Wyoming, and then they release an album immediately where there's bars for him from Pusha T on the last song where he's like, you know, written like Nas, but it came from Quentin. He was like, oh, my gosh. So he goes back hard at him, and then Kanye goes, well, I can ruin your whole rollout, and just gives it to Pusha to give him the story of Adidon. And then if you think about it, like, Kanye's always had this big, like, rollout beef with Drake.
Yeah.
So like Drake announces that Scorpion's coming out in June before Kanye announced his rollout plan, and then Kanye rolls it all out right before Drake does. It's like he just like schemed on Drake, got information from him, and then like fucked up his whole shit. It's like it's kind of like makes Kanye just look like a snake, which is like
it doesn't change how that album sounds, and it sounds amazing.
Which album?
Kanye's.
See, that's another one whose rollout was completely like just
jarred.
But everybody just wanted to hate that album. Like, that album is amazing to me. Like,
yeah, it'll speak for itself over time.
I hope so, because like I still hear people just like talking so much shit about it, and like.
But that's the fun thing to do. For
sure. But
like when that person who's talking shit is like lit at a party and someone puts on, "Oh, mama, shiver like a genie on a bottle," they're gonna be like, "Yeah,
yeah." Luna.
It's too good. All that album's so good.
Luna.
Nick.
Luna. Who is that? Who is that guy you met that did the hook for that Kanye song?
I'll save it for his interview.
It's fine. I just want to ask him real quick. He's like Jeremiah's friend, right? Because Aunt Clemens. That's it. Yeah. Aunt Clemens. He doesn't get enough credit for that hook because people thought it was Jeremiah, then people thought it was Valley, and then people like. I thought it was Jeremiah too.
On there, though. That's good. I mean, that worked. I know people that when they heard the one where he sampled Panda, they were like, "Oh, he got Future on Pablo." You know what I mean?
Dude, like actual media outlets.
Yeah, said Future,
reported Future is on Life of Pablo while the MSG stream was going.
I would bet you $20 you could find an article that says Jeremiah's verse on All Mine.
It does, yeah, definitely. But
that's like a classic Kanye thing to like bury the lead or like hide the newcomer instead of being like, "Look, I'm helping out the young guy," just being like, "Here he is."
Yeah.
If you think he sounds like someone else, that's your own prejudice. That's your type shit. That's like.
What do you think about the uncredited features? I mean, Ye's kind of always done that, but on Drake's album, I thought it was kind of shitty that on In My Feelings it doesn't say featuring City Girls. Like, they deserve that shine at this point. I feel like.
Yeah, but they're on like the album notes.
Sure, but like Ty Dolla $ign, I mean,
he's not gonna not give them credit. Like when he's interviewed about that song, he's gonna shout them out. He's not gonna be
Drake doesn't do interviews, but
well, I mean, like any sort of like.
I know that media will cover it. I just never understood why you get like
pop up on stage with that.
Like Drake will put featuring Jay-Z or featuring like Static Major, like the late Static Major, and Ty Dolla $ign when he's got an actual verse on it. But like City Girls has a verse on In My Feelings, and that song went #1. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's better just like to see featuring City Girls on there because then you get that #1.
Yeah,
like,
but it's also like Jay-Z's peak of his game. You're gonna put Jay-Z's name on it because you don't get to make that call.
No, yeah, of course not.
You're gonna put your late friend, like a label mate's name on it because you're honoring his death. Like if you're gonna. Like, if you think City Girls is sweet and you call City Girls, they're the ones that are excited. Like,
I mean, definitely, but, like, features used to never be, like, a way to honor somebody. It was just, like, to show that they were on the song. You know what I mean?
Right, but that's what guys like
it's
Kanye
changed over
and
time,
Drake are
yeah.
doing. Like, they're using their, like, that influence of Future to, like, pay homage and, like, give props and like these kind of things.
And that's honestly my favorite thing about listening to Kanye albums when they come out is that they don't list the features and you get to listen to it like that
Unbiased.
thing. Like when you listen and hear Designer, people were like, "Oh, Future's on this shit," and like, you know, that's cool because like this time I listened to the Ye album with Dayo and with Free and Luna and Leo and all them, and we were just like trying to be like, "Oh, this person's on it, like this person's on it, like oh, is that Cudi? Like is that Cudi on Ghost Town? Like you know, like all that." And that is like a super fun experience. It's just that Drake did it another thing. He did it halfway. Like I wish that he didn't list his features. Like he came out with like I got Jay-Z and Michael Jackson and Static Major and Ty Dolla $ign. Yeah. Like that's who I got on my album, you know.
So but it's when it's those three.
Like, yeah, but then just put City Girls. Like I want to see new people get the shine, especially if Drake's being accused of being a culture vulture.
They're on the #1 song.
Sure.
They're touring with Lil Baby. Like, they got their shine. Like, they are there. People are aware.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can really justify why he wouldn't put him on there, but, like, I can see that, like, I don't know, he doesn't put Nicki Minaj in the one where he samples, like, her live show.
That's true, but that's a sample, so that's a little different.
That's true, yeah, but I don't know.
What do you think about that? Sunday, wait, is that tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow, Fifi by Tekashi 6ix9ine featuring Nicki Minaj coming out.
I mean, dude... I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a Tekashi fan. Like, until I hear some versatility from him or until I hear him, like, go on,
You
like...
ain't heard Gotti? You ain't heard Gotti?
I mean, it's just, like... It just feels like he drives by really fast. It's like... and then it's like, what's that? Another Tekashi song?
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
If it didn't have, like... I mean, I'm not saying that there's, like, longevity necessarily. I'm just saying that, like, if it didn't have the actual, like, statistical impact that it has, people would be able to ignore it like
It's
that
the
fast
energy.
driving car. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something that goes by that fast doesn't chart as high, doesn't get you as many clicks, doesn't sell out shows everywhere in the world. Like,
Right.
like I'm not
But the
vouching
people
for
it
his
hits-
character. I'm not vouching for the way that he goes about things. I'm not even vouching for the music necessarily because, like, I think there's people out there that are doing his music better, like Zillakami and Sausmula. Like, they're killing it. Like,
But
and they
they're
put
not
out like
putting on
hits.
the show he is.
No, and that's the thing is like character reigns supreme in this whole
Yep.
climate of music right now,
In
and that's
politics
important.
and everything else.
And he's like he's a politician
Yeah.
if there ever was one.
Exactly.
So like that's the thing, he can control narratives like nobody, like not even people who like Lil Pump or like
Right.
like those people that are really at the top or Juice Wrld. Like those people seem very naive and not really able to
they're fine
control their
just being like,
narrative.
Man, like I'm wildin'.
Yeah.
Takashi's
Or-
like
or
I'm
the-
wildin' because this and this and this and this and this.
And he's like, how can you deny it? Like he just kind of does like that a lot.
Yep.
And that's the thing is like I was listening to Hot 97, like Ebro and Rosenberg were having a conversation about whether they should have Tekashi up there, which is frankly my favorite thing about Nicki Minaj being on this song is New York doesn't know what to do because they
Yeah.
love Nicki and Nicki's in a slump, and now they've got the hottest guy in New York who's young, hottest person other than Cardi B in New York,
Yep.
putting Nicki Minaj on a song. They have to pay attention to it, and they have to almost give him like a level of respect
for doing that.
for
yeah.
like a reverence to the kind of the rollout of the song. And
Yeah,
so
I will say that that's like a good play for him.
yeah,
Like, being like that's making it more accessible. Like
Yeah.
right there. Like people will be like, oh, they are iffy.
Yeah.
With this,
and there's a lot of like, I mean, I don't know, like
I feel like the people that like his music hits like feel like it gets them going more than anything else. Like Hontus, big fan of Tekashi 6ix9ine, and when he hears it, he doesn't know what to do. He's just like, yes, like, oh, like he's got all this like aggression saved up that can only vent when he hears that song. Like it's
Well,
a kind of music so unique.
I do think that, especially in the mainstream, there aren't very many mechanisms or like entities like really doing what he's doing, like
Yeah.
that kind of like cathartic, crazy, hardcore music that like you only really find in like the depths or in trends and stuff. And his seems so like, I don't know, like it's so different than everything else that's at the top right now.
It's cocaine rap.
Yeah, it's like really like pushing things like people compare him to like Lil Jon or something, like when
Yeah.
Crunk was as big, because that made people just have
Break
this
your
new
back.
like this new way of just like really going hard, like it
Yeah.
like took it to an extreme. And this is like so far in one direction that I really can't you can't compare it to
It's like a
anything
possession story. It's possessed.
else. Yeah.
It really is possessed.
Yeah.
I will give him props for showing up to court like he did, because that was one of the funniest I don't give a fucks.
That was like my least favorite thing he's done. That's my least favorite thing he's done.
He said, put me in jail.
He also spent 45 minutes in Rikers Island and then got like hella death threats. So
Then they put him in solitary for
yeah, for 45 minutes or whatever. I don't know what
I feel like it's all like a show. Like
Yeah.
Riker, he's going to Rikers. Of course he's going to get death threats. They're going to have to put him in solitary.
that is the thing. You don't need a reality TV show to have one now. So like,
Well, 'cause it's
because you have all these
stranger.
outlets like Instagram and like I'm following the shit and there's a new meme of him every
Yep.
day or whatever.
Well, the
and,
thing
like,
with a reality TV show, you have to script it. They're all scripted. It's
That's true.
rarely- And like when you can
He gets to
capture
do it.
like consistent reality, it is stranger. It is weirder than fucking a show.
And the short-lived beef with Juice Wrld, he proved that he can do sketch comedy when he gets out of this. I am not joking. That was hilarious. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Like he has like a natural ability and a willingness to be an actor.
Yeah,
Like,
to like embarrass himself.
yeah, and like not and just put himself like. There's a lot of people who have this attitude of like being
Ego,
too cool,
yeah.
and he just kind of like, I don't know. He's willing to go places that a lot of people won't. Which
I don't know if it's something you care about, but I don't get the Juice World.
all right. Here's what
am
I
I
will.
supposed to like about it?
Here's what I will say. When Juice Wrld was coming up, he had songs like Autograph on My Line and even Lucid Dreams, which is crazy because like we've been
Bars.
listening to that in this house for a really long time, and I never would have expected it to go number 3 in the country, like
Right.
ever. Like it was the slowest climb to there that I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
That being said, everything else he's released since then has been a major disappointment to me.
Just like very falls real short on the lyrics for me. Like, he says
That's
things
what I
like,
mean.
I'm like, damn, you said that?
Exactly, yeah. And he's also playing into a trend of the emo rap thing where, like, you see people saying, like, Juice Wrld is the new Lil Peep or, like, whatever. And that hurts him because of how he plays into it and how his lyrics are so shallow. Like, you can't get past, like, a certain level.
I mean, he's a bar spitter, dude. He should be, like...
And that's what I was going to say is my big upside is that I love watching him freestyle because it's off the top.
Yeah.
Anybody who's freestyling off the top, and especially an artist like him who came out sounding like Post Malone and then gets on the radio and raps for an hour and 10 minutes on Westwood, I respect that, and I also like want to see more of it. But if I'm looking at just Juice WRLD's music that he's released, like his album and then like Legends, that song that he did for X and Pete, it's just kind of like... It's I don't know. It's not like a very exciting. I'm just not excited about new Juice WRLD music right now because it seems so like within a formula and like he's not trying to be creative. So like
this wave kind of blindsided me too. Like it's like a weird mix of everything. And I can see people why they like it, but it's just so shallow is about the best way you could put it.
Like, at least him at the front of it. I think there's a lot of people under him who are very creative, innovative, and like meshing sounds that have never been meshed before. But I just don't think that he's a good face of it. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. But
I don't like trashing people, but everybody's like, dude, have you heard this Juice WRLD song? Or like, you gotta get hip to Juice. And I'm just like,
yeah.
I sit down and I'm like, and just keeps going. And like by the third time the hook's up, I'm like, why are you still saying this? Like,
yeah.
But that's all right. That's just me talking a little shit on you, Juice WRLD. It's all right, dog. I still got faith in him.
All right, I got a quick hit for you. We watched the Clout Cobain video, Denzel Curry, last night.
Yeah, loved the video.
Yeah, what do you think? Give me your thoughts.
Vaudeville. It seemed, I think, what did I say right after? I said we can thank Donald Glover for that. Like the shot, like the suicide at the end scene made me think, like, man, it's become really easy to show, like, blunt violence like that, and like I don't know, it's good that people can like they're not going to see that and be like, oh man, he's suicidal. They're going to see it and be like, whoa, like that was like, you know, a little deeper. Like they're going to be thinking about it.
There's a lot of imagery in it, like
a lot of imagery, and like it does sound like, so it sounds like Juice WRLD could be on it and it would be like a shallow ass song, but it's Denzel doing it and like playing on the tropes and like motifs of these like corny kind of things. And like it's weird how he's saying, like, call me Kurt Cobain. Like, he's, like, talking about suicide in this, which is almost, like, the mirrored. It's, like, the same as, like, the people he's, like, mocking.
No, yeah.
But, like, you just get the sense from him that he's, like, mocking them.
Well, it's not even, like, I wouldn't call it mocking. It's definitely, like, commentary on.
Sure.
So he's like you said, This Is America, like, was taking kind of, like, trap tropes and kind of the way that people are functioning within this new wave of hip-hop becoming pop, you know what I mean? And he kind of took that, made like a trap sound, and the lyrics are like bare bones as you could possibly be, but because of what he was doing with it, it spoke so much, and that's why that song was so like had that ripple effect and like went #1.
Yep.
The video was absolutely brilliant. It was directed by the Atlanta director. What I think Denzel was doing is taking that same concept, that same like ideology, and putting it in the world that he kind of created. Like SoundCloud rap like comes from Raider Clan and comes from Lil B and ASAP Mob and Odd Future.
Yep.
That's like the four places, or maybe like Chief Keef. Like you know what I'm saying? So like he just took like the world that he created and kind of flipped it on them by using what they're using now, these like melodies and these trap hooks or whatever, and gross beat, the half speed on gross beat, and used it to kind of talk about the problems in that of like the suicide trend or like the
I feel like
emo trend.
It's an acknowledgement of like him saying that like the people that have come after him were like ignoring like the vital parts of like what was actually begun. Like they used those basic sounds and same tropes and things at the beginning, but they're trying to say, you know, a little something more. And then the successors like just take what was like sonically pleasing, and then like make like, you know, almost like a pop version of it or like a more shallow version of it. And now he's looking back at it like, damn, y'all did that with it. Like that's what you got out of what I made.
Yeah. So the song that came before this one was called Perks, and he talks about a lot of things. That's kind of a more direct talking to the other rappers that came after him. And he says like, you took my name and dragged it through the mud. Like the thing that he loved the most, like that he created, has now been like taken to this whole new place that is focused on drugs and suicide and gang shit from people that have never lived that life. You know what I mean? So that's what that imagery is so powerful in that video is like these white kids with face tattoos, like, and they laugh when he holds a gun up to his Instagram live, and like, and he's like, you know, tempting suicide and all these different things. Those like messages that have like found their way to the core of what's happening right now are like, he's showing why they're toxic and like why they're, it's like real life issues just like thrust in front of an audience who don't understand them and use them as entertainment when like that's people's real lives. And so it's just like playing with fire. Like the whole thing is playing with fire.
There's something to be said about like that ability that like This Is America had to like be satirical, but at the same time like keep the veil over some people's eyes. Like that song sounds just like everything it's commenting on, like so much that like to a certain audience doesn't register. It's like, oh, that's the same as like the last thing, like This Is America, woo, doing a funny dance, and like don't even understand that the dance is itself are all like jokes. And and that's like with Denzel, it's a little different because his world he lives in like isn't the mainstream, and like there are people that are going to hear that and just be like, oh, this is hard as fuck, and that's what he wants. And that's like the like end goal there is to like keep the veil over some people's eyes, but those ones that it's just barely over, like this might be like, oh wait, like he's doing this to like point something out to me, like this other guy that I listen to is doing it just because that's what he thinks he should do. And that's what I loved about Donald Glover going on all the late night shows and being like, I'm not explaining like I'm not going to tell you what it means, because that's not. Yeah, you want to keep it over. And that's the thing is like it means different things to different people, and that's the whole point. Yeah, you can't go out and be like, these people are wrong, this is why this and this is this, because then people are going to be like, you're a ass. And that's what I love about the Clout Cobain video is like watching it with different people, like I almost like I'm just curious to see people's reactions to it, because I think a lot of people could watch it and be like, man, this is a banger, like this like goes crazy and like whatever, and just miss the whole point and be like, man, that's a cool looking video, like that's what I love about it, is that I think it speaks to who is paying attention and who's not, and that whole atmosphere that it's created of like whether people are going to think about the commentary when it comes from this place, because it's like the medium is the message. SoundCloud rap isn't associated with like looking for messages. So like when Denzel has this message that's like so flipped and so like, I don't know, just like so nuanced, it's like, it's so cool to see that. He's like dude, there's like the vaudeville imagery speaks like a lot on it. Like there was an era like when the conception of like jazz and like OG American music, like people were stepping like out of vaudeville, like stepping out of being like the tropes and like things like we constructed as a nation. Like people were just like spinning batons and like dancing with lions, and like it was a circus act. And then it went to artistry a little more, and then it was like, well, is that still art? Like, are we showmen? Are we this? And like, I don't know, playing with that idea and having like the makeup on and having the guy like boss him around and like tell him what to do. And it says dance in that one part. Well, he tweeted before the video came out, "Welcome to the Clout Circus." That's what he said. The circus imagery, vaudeville is like perfect imagery for that. Yeah, because it's like the performer versus artist. It's like which are we, you know, and who's pulling the strings, like, you know what I mean? And are you going to a show to see, you know, the 7-foot tall man and like the Batgirl? Like, are you going to see freaks and like stand away and they're not people, or are you going to a show to like appreciate the art? Appreciate the art. And that's like, because I think the bigger conversations, like, there's a lot of responsibility on the listener now more than ever to like recognize and like interact in the sound and like what's coming out, instead of just being like, this is fire, like here I go. Like, and with the access comes responsibility too, because like because like the more access you have to your favorite artists,
the more you have to recognize that they're people too, and like they're artists that are conceiving of something and sharing it instead of just like a faceless entity that you're interacting with, and your interactions have nothing to do with how they live their life.
You know, maybe
you can
part of
affect them now, like even just a nobody anywhere,
right,
by like spitting negativity at something or misunderstanding something or like loving the like suicidal imagery of something or so much, or the drug life imagery that you see. If you love that enough and you like put that out into the world, it's gonna have like a snowball effect, and that hurts like people's real lives. So it's kind of like a
but those same ones that love it like might be the ones who are hurting in their own lives, and that's like what's getting
exactly.
So
and it goes both ways. Yeah, people are people.
Maybe,
so
like part of what we're saying is like a reason the Kanye album like had a hard time, because like people do feel that like onus of responsibility a little more now, and like people are like, I know I'm more ready to like say like, oh, I'm not gonna like perpetuate this attitude. Like I don't care if that song is like good or not, but like I have so much access to other good music, and there's like a list that never ends of like very positive, like supportive people that are just like pushing boundaries every day. Like we're in the room with like two of the best at it, and it's just like, if you're gonna be so divisive, like there's a threshold for everyone, you know. You go from being a fan to like, okay, well now I'm telling like, you know, someone who's lived through this that they gotta like separate themselves in their own experience just to understand how good the music is. Like there's more responsibility on the listener, but there's also more responsibility on the artist now to be like a little more well-rounded. And like I don't know if that controlled chaos is gonna work for too many more people like outside of Kanye, like like being so unhinged and like just listen to the art. Like you almost have to have the ability to commentate, and like
because we just have access to the person now, so you can't, it's harder to interact with art and not interact with the artist nowadays. And I mean, I don't know where the responsibility lies in that, because like I was saying yesterday, like I don't know what the world is going to look like if only the best people who never do anything wrong are the people making art. Because like flawed people and people with flawed ideologies, and people will change over time too. So like the worst person, someone with all these toxic ideas, because of the, you know, they've absorbed them from society, they can change completely. And, you know, I don't know, just people like evolve over time. So it's hard to like take a snapshot of a person and be like, I can't support their art because of like something they believe.
It's
you
more
know?
like a moment by moment, case by case thing. Like it's just like a natural maturation of music in general. Like as a community, like the people making and listening and sharing music like are more aware and everything, and it's just we're growing up more and more. It can't be as like silly. It almost has to be like naturally growing, like more mature. Yeah,
definitely. All right, we're gonna do our meme of the week real quick.
Oh yeah.
The meme of the week, that one that I saw the most was this structure, and I'm gonna see if you have any good ones. Pee after sex, or you'll get a DUI. That's an example.
Okay.
You see any good ones? Pee after sex, or you get a GI Bill.
Are you supposed to pee after sex?
Yeah. Or you get a UTI. That's what it's based off of. You ever had a UTI?
I've never had sex.
All right, and then last thing, do you want to showcase one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one artist or one song, one album.
No one's super underground, but my man from the River Valley himself, young Arin Ray, teamed up out of nowhere for me. First off, I slept on his album, didn't know it came out. Next thing I know, I see it's out, and guess who produced most of it and is featured on the last song?
Who?
Valdez's, Crenshaw's own Terrace Martin. Jesus, Lord have mercy. On tour right now with Robert Glasper. They just did the Nice fucking jazz festival. One of the best jazz guys around. Pimp a Butterfly. Everything. His credentials are amazing. Like, has his own album coming out. Drones is going to come out this summer that he's been working on, posting snippets. And to see a guy who just signed for Interscope and is a big R&B artist kind of like grab Terrace Martin and be like thrusting like that sound and taking R&B that way and kind of away from, let's just say, like the Ty Dolla $ign, like Chris Brown kind of like club R&B, like to see R&B being pushed like this powerful with a voice like Arin Ray, like a little more soulful, a little more funky. Like I think that's great for the genre, and I think he's gonna be like a long time career guy. Like he's gonna be around forever.
Definitely. Complete opposite side of things. I'm gonna shout out Lil Xelly from Maryland. Lil Xelly been putting out a mixtape every 2 days. He put out his first ever mixtape in December of last year, and in the past 30 days alone, he's put out 7 projects, putting out one tonight too. You should check him out. I did art for one of them called the X100 Files Part 2, but he just put out Lucky Charms 4. He's putting out Lucky Charms 5, and then he's got tapes with Laderick, Nedarb. He did one with Captain Crunch. He just teams up with producers, puts out these projects. They're real quick. If you give it a few listens, because people keep saying that he raps off beat, but he's off beat but on point. That's what they say about Xelly. And he's got the Draco behavior, and he's got the best ad libs in the game. Zer, that's the one that
you're gonna have to get me hip. I'm
not
hip yet.
And he's got hits. You should check him out. He's coming up on the underground.
What's the name of the one coming out tonight?
I think he's putting out Lucky Charms 5, but he always tricks us. Sometimes he puts out a different one. He's got plenty of tapes in the vault.
The Arin Ray album's called Platinum Fire.
Yeah. All right, Hivemind Pod 1.
We're out, baby. That was the first one.
In excelsis Deo. In excelsis Deo.